Hey there, City Skylines enthusiasts. Welcome back to Flyvox Talks Cities, the podcast based around our beloved city building simulation, City Skylines. My name is Flyvox, and our guest today is Stiletto in the City. Hello, Stiletto. How are you doing today?
Hello, I am wonderful. Thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. Please tell us a few words about yourself.
So I am Stiletto, and that has been my gaming handle for years and years and years. And since my YouTube channel is cities focused, Stiletto in the City was born. And in my real life, I'm a mom and a wife, and I work full time. And luckily, I have a house full of gamers, so I get to game in my spare time without any complaints from the family.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that, actually. So we're both City Skylines fanatics, and of course, the news that shook the world, the City Skylines world to its core, about City Skylines 2 dropping. And by the time of this recording, we're almost at release date. But how
So
did you?
close.
Yeah, it's so close, right? But how did you experience the announcement trailer for City Skylines 2, and how did you feel while you were watching it?
So I feel like the community kind of had a feeling that CS2 was coming. So at the Paradox announcement show back in March, we kind of were waiting for it. They definitely saved the best for last. I actually went back this morning to watch it again because I hadn't watched it since, well, I watched it a million times in that time frame. But since then I hadn't gone back and watched it. And I felt the same way today when I watched it as I did then, which was totally emotional, which is not me at all. It just made me so excited and so inspired. And it actually just made me feel like I was part of something bigger than just me sitting alone at my PC building a little city. The city's community is massive, and I just really had no idea how many people actually played the game. And it just made me feel a little bit, I wasn't alone in this game. I just found the community. So yeah, it really made me feel part of something big.
Right, right. I remember it too vividly. I was blown away, right? I was blown away by the trailer. It was super super amazing. And of course, it didn't take long after that until we got an actual gameplay trailer. What did you think about that when you were watching that the gameplay trailer?
It was unreal. It was just so beautiful. The visuals alone just literally wanted to make me cry. And all of the trailers have been so visually pleasing. It just instantly made me want to start playing the game right away.
Yeah, 100%. Like I love when the opening shot, the gameplay trailer, I think it was with from that big intersection, the highway intersection. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
the visuals, like, oh my God. So beautiful, so amazing, and I was stunned start to finish, and I just it was so amazing to witness and to watch this. It was really really cool. I love all the footage that we got so far. I'm sure you also have seen the dev diaries and the insight videos, the dev insight videos, right?
Yes, I've watched all of those, and there is just so much to take in, and I'm sure that I have missed a ton.
Yeah, like there's so many features shown in those diary videos, the dev diaries. I love those, but I also love the dev insight videos because it's like, you get even more insights, of course, from the actual game developers. And I love that, hearing that kind of like behind the scenes perspective. And for me personally, the dev diary video on road tools, the very first one, like they started so strong that knocked it out of the park for me, right? It was the road tools, like it looks so amazing. The features that we got in there, right? With the grid tool, we have parallel roads. It's like all of this stuff, like the TMPE, sort of a TMPE light version in the base game. And I just thought it was so amazing how many features were implemented and that they chose to show that one right at the start. Truly
It
amazing.
was, yeah, unreal. When they pulled that grid across all in one shot, I was just, I gasped. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? It was just so good. And every video that came after, it just made me so impatient for the game.
Same here, actually. And I can't believe the second one, the follow up, traffic AI. I mean, come on, right? A
Oh my God,
complete
that little car. Just it's still in the little 3-point turn it did, and then how it had the little car accident. Yeah, it's so cute.
right.
I can't wait to see my first car accident.
Right. Like these features are so I love that they did it like a complete overhaul of the traffic AI, and we get these like these cost points that the citizens take into account instead of just like in cities one the traffic AI takes like the shortest or like the fastest legal way and doesn't even think about, like once the path is set, City Skylines 1 sim will not veer off that path unless the player takes out the road or like turns it into like a one-way road or something, makes it impossible to go through. And that's what I truly like about what we saw in the Traffic AI Dev Diary, that it's completely overhauled and citizens take like every step of the way into account. Like if there's a traffic jam, they will try to bypass it. If there's a traffic accident, which again is like a feature that's like mind blowing to me in the game, they will see if they can go around it somehow. If like it takes too long for the maintenance to clear the debris or the ambulance to treat the citizens that were involved in the traffic accident. Yeah, so like those two dev diaries alone, but of course all of those so far, of course all of those are really amazing and show off quite a lot that the game has to offer. And I think people really, really enjoyed these little insights as well. Like not just the dev diaries that showed off the features, but also the dev insight videos where the game developers shared a bit of behind the scenes. I thought that was a really cool concept and a great move, actually.
I really enjoyed the insights as well. I think I might have enjoyed the insights better than the actual diary. They just gave a little bit more info, and I actually kind of really liked getting to know the developers a little bit too. The guy who does the like and
Hilarious.
subscribe, he was so
Hilarious. Yeah.
funny. Yeah, I love it.
Very nice people. Yeah, it was cool to, in air quotes, meet them,
Yeah,
the faces
exactly.
behind. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, how strong do you think the modding community will be in Cities 2 with all of these like amazing features already in the base game?
Oh, obviously, I can't say for certain, but I think the modders are already working their magic. I do think there will be some mods that are ready to go on release day or probably shortly thereafter, but I'm not really too concerned about not seeing some things in the early access videos that I would have liked to see because I think they will come in through modding. And in the meantime, I think playing a vanilla base game CS2 will probably just help me be better at CS1.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah. And I love the fact that, like, from day one, maybe there will, yeah, it's interesting to know. I've speculated, like, what mod would be, like, the first mod that would be implemented, like maybe a no traffic accident mod, or like what, like a small, like in air quotes, controversy is the tree saplings, right? That were shown.
Yes.
It's like, okay, so you plant the tree sapling, you have to wait for them to grow. Like maybe there'll be a day one mod with plant grown trees or something, or no tree saplings or
I think yeah, that's my first mod that I probably would download is fully grown trees or something like that, like not having to wait for the tree life cycle since I'm such a detailer. I really don't want to wait for that tree to grow.
right, right. It could take ages probably, right? I
Right?
mean, and there probably will be a get rid of chirper mod.
Oh, I don't want Chirper to go away.
Me neither.
I still have Chirper up on actually this last video I put out was the very first time that I took Chirper off the screen and I
Oh,
felt really guilty about it. So I'm excited for Chirper and I actually think that the concept of the likes from the citizens to kind of give you a little bit of feedback about some issues that may be in your city, I think that's a great idea.
Right. That is really awesome. I agree. That's first of all, I love to hear that you're also a Chirper fan, right? I love Chirper 100%. I can never understand people that hate on Chirper and even mod him out of the game. I'm like, "Oh my God, come on.
What?
How? Why?" Right? But yeah, the likes, a good point. I really really like that too. No pun intended. I like that. that you can get, of course, like Chirper help the players in Cities 1 as well. I do love it, however, that it's kind of like a refined system now. And the more likes you can see, like the bigger of a problem it is, or the more people have that problem and you need to address that problem. It was in one of the recent or one of the last latest dev diaries, the sound and music, I think, where it also said that in the radio stations, in the radio itself, there will be like these broadcasts that actually are simulation based, and they will pick up on any issues in your city, and it will throw a broadcast out there like a news report. If you have like there's not enough housing, like if you have too high demand, or there's not enough electricity. And like I thought that is so cool, tying in with the likes from the Chirper feed, that you as the player have like multiple options now to get more information on if and what is wrong in your city. I thought that was so cool.
I also agree. I think that's a great idea. I think that a lot of people playing CS2, I mean, it is going to be a new game. So we're all,
Right.
we're all going to be noobs at it. So we all need that little help along the way, no matter how long we've been playing CS1.
Indeed, yeah. But Stiletto, do you have any concerns about the game that you hope will be addressed before the release after watching all of this like additional footage? We talked about the tree saplings, maybe.
Well, I don't think that my concern will be resolved before the launch, but my concern is just kind of related to the way I play, which is just as a detailer. There is not a lot of prop detailing, but I think that that will come, and I just keep reminding myself that this is CS2 base game. Like it's a base game. When you
Right.
look at CS1 base game, did we have all of this stuff? No. So I think that CS2 will grow. It has so much potential. So I'm happy to just learn, the basics of the game. And then, by the time I get the hang of it, maybe there will be lots of props available.
That's so true. And there was a lot of free content for Cities 1 as well, right? So, I mean, who's to say there might be prop packs or whatever, that are just like
Totally.
additional free content. Like, who knows, right? And of course, like, I was actually stunned because I found out that in City Skylines 1, the bicycles were also not in base game. Like I just found that out when it was revealed that there were no bicycles in Cities 2, and I'm like, "Wait, what? No, why? Come on, cuz I love a good biking network." And then I was like, "But in Cities 1," and then I just like in a Discord I found out and then someone pointed out that like, "Oh, those were not in the base game." Like, "What?" And then I forgot. I can't even remember which DLC the bicycles
I
came,
know, right?
and it was like an early one, but still, I could have sworn that the bikes were in base game, but they weren't. So it's not a big problem for Cities 2. Like I'm banking on additional content once the game drops, and we'll see how everything turns out. I'm not worried though. I'm not worried.
Me either. I think I've heard some feedback from other content creators in the community, and I feel like they're a little bit let down that it wasn't included in the base game, but I'm pretty optimistic. I don't think that they'll leave us out. I think for sure they'll take care of us by adding in things after the fact.
Right, right. Especially like bicycles and detailing
Hmm.
detailing options, right?
Oh
Because
my
like
gosh, yeah.
that's one of the if you like just watch a few City Skylines videos, or like you create videos, right? I create videos, and there's always like in a series there's always like a couple of episodes where content creators just dedicate to detailing, and that's like filler for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour sometimes,
Absolutely.
with time lapse even.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure that Colossal Order is aware of that. And so yeah, again, I'm not worried. It's gonna be a bit awkward in the beginning, but I love what you just said about it gives the players time to get to know the base game. Cities 2 is a completely new game, so we'll have to, in air quotes, relearn that.
Right.
But of course, as Cities players, we do know a little bit with that background knowledge. But of course, it's still like it's a completely new game, and so yeah, that's going to be an exciting times for sure for everybody, I think.
Yeah, well, the good thing is that we're all kind of starting off in the same boat with,
So true.
I mean, some people have, early access, but not really that early, and we all get to see it. So it's fine. I think it'll be okay.
Right, right, right. Until then, we can still, pass our time with City Skylines 1.
Oh my gosh, I'm so not ready to give up City Skylines 1, and I don't think I will for a while. I'm in the middle of a huge build city. I have tons of things planned. So I'm not about to give it up just yet.
Right, right. I honestly, I thought that once Cities 2 drops, I would probably switch over completely to City Skylines 2. Now, of course, disclaimer, I also have early access and I have played
Mhm.
the game so far, but when I first got the game and I got like the first couple of hours in the game, I was like, okay, this is really a different game. I might not switch over completely and, still sneak in the occasional City Skylines live stream or even like YouTube video, right? Just because, yeah, it feels the same but very different, like, in the kind of the same way. It's odd. It's odd to explain, but it's very interesting. Yeah. So, but also, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm probably not completely gonna drop Cities 1.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of life to live for Cities 1.
Right, right. And how did you first hear about City Skylines 1? And is there anything or anyone that inspired you to start playing the game?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So my cities, well, actually, my simulator game history goes back very, very far.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have always been a sim game player. Back in, I don't want to say, but back in the 90s. Um, the first sim game I ever played was Sim Tower, and I was obsessed. I couldn't put
Oh,
it down. You need to go back and and look at it. It's so basic, but it is the best. And then I moved on to the Sim City games. And then when The Sims launched in 2000, I played that right from day one. And then my partner is a huge gamer and he really keeps up on new and upcoming games. And when he saw that City Skylines was launching, he bought it for me on day one. So I have been playing City Skylines since the day that it launched. We
wow.
actually we actually have three copies in our household. So he has one on his Steam account where I started. Then I bought it from my Steam account, and we also have it on our Switch.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yes.
I actually also do have the Switch version as well.
I cannot I don't know how I played it on the Switch. I picked it up recently and tried to draw a straight line, and it took me 20 minutes. I just was
Yeah,
like,
the Switch
I cannot
version,
play
yeah,
now, no.
the Switch version is very different, and I'm really sorry to everyone out there. I cannot recommend it.
No, it was so frustrating. I just no, I had to give it
No,
up.
no, no. That's very interesting. So you're from day one, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a console player actually. I started playing on PlayStation 4. So, but when it came out for consoles, which I think was 2017, I want to say, I think
Yeah, I think so.
it was pretty early after the console release. But I actually got a used copy off the internet, so I think I paid just like $20 for it. So I just and yeah, it was interesting. I told the story multiple times, so I'm gonna keep it short, for the reoccurring viewers. But like a coworker at like in my 9 to 5, my IRL job, came up to me and he's like, "Yo, dude, check out, there's like this city building simulation," and I'm like, yeah, I was never into simulation games, right? And I was like, yeah, no, hesitant to. And he's kept nagging me, like, check it out, check it out, check it out. I was like, fine. So I go to YouTube and City Skylines, and first video that pops up was Imperial Jedi's How to Start video from like I think it's his most popular with like almost 2 million views or something. His How to Start. I watched that and I was like instantly hooked. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I need to get this, City Skylines, PlayStation 4, boom, buy, $20, perfect. And then yeah, the rest is history. Basically, I was going to say history, but I guess it is. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of funny that like I guess I would have heard about it eventually. I don't know, but
Yeah.
just because my good friend from work told me about it, so I owe it all to him. I owe it all to him,
Well, I
and
think
Imperial Jedi.
there wasn't really much CS1 content on YouTube back then when I was playing it. So I really just had to kind of learn the game on my own. And it was really just pure vanilla, no DLC or no mods. And then my play style was get the biggest city, make the most population that you could get. But then I would end up with such horrible traffic that I would just rage quit for
Oh,
weeks at
okay,
a time
yeah.
and then pick it up again. And then I would get annoyed by the traffic again and I would quit. And then I also would play up to, 10,000 or 15,000 Sims. And then I would decide, oh, I should have started it like this, or oh, I should have built it like that. And then I would scrap the whole thing and then start a new city. So yeah, I'm a serial non-completer, I guess, for for cities.
Me too. I hear you. Like I think the first time I got a city up and running was indeed on PlayStation, of course, and it was like my I don't know, third or fourth or fifth attempt even because I always just like it ran out of money or traffic
Yeah.
like was so bad it was just or people like died from pollution and or something 'cause I didn't know anything, and then I started more closely following along the tutorials on YouTube. Luckily, there were enough at the time, and I mostly followed Imperial Jedi because like he actually convinced like his video made me buy the game in the end, right? And so I got it up and running, and that was like the one city that I still think about today. Like I don't think about it, but whenever I talk about city skylines, and we get to a point about like cities and finish a city, how do you finish a city? And I always think about that city because for me, hitting 100,000 residents in that city was the point where I was
Huge.
like, I'm done, right? This is finished. This is amazing. And little details here and there, and it was very, very cool. And still to this day, I remember that city. So that's like a point. 100,000 residents is where I would consider a city done. But here is the thing, like that I only did that once, right? So I'm also like you. I play
Right.
it. I start a city. And I'm like, "Ah, well, that's not no. Where's this? Why am I
Yep.
doing this? And what is no? I got to start all over again, right? And then it's like when you check out my channel, my YouTube channel, there's like three or four like uncompleted series on there. Every day, like I feel bad because like when somebody gets invested and they just keep watching this, and then all of a sudden, boom, no more episodes. What the next video
Yep.
is like? It's like episode one, new city start, how to start your city in 2021, how to start in 2022, and all that. And so I do feel you 100% on
Yeah,
that.
that's totally me. But I ended up taking a really long break from the game. I was
Oh.
really bored with vanilla, and I just started playing other things. I was really into The Sims, and then I was playing some MMORPGs. And then when I came back to the game, it was just last year. Um, I was really into watching like gaming content for other games, and I was in the mood to load up cities, and I looked at the content and I was just like, "Oh my God, where did all these people come from?" And the mods unreal. So I just watched them all and I learned about all the mods, and just a new love for the game, I guess, was ignited. Just mods were a literal game changer for me, and it completely changed my playstyle into a detailer, playing to make it look pretty, and then more looks over function approach, I guess. Yeah, it was all about the people who were modding. Some of these people were doing things in their videos, and it just made me think, are we even playing the same game? Like, how did they do this? Where did they get that? How did all of that come about? And then I discovered the workshop, and it has been a love affair since then.
Nice, nice. I like that story. That's pretty cool. The mods to ignite the flame. That's really cool. Is there anything special that you remember from your very first time playing the game?
Oh, very first time. That was a long time ago. But I had come from, SimCity franchise, so it just really was an elevated SimCity. I felt like
Right, right.
just the graphics and the assets and just all of the functionality of just the whole city in general. No, I definitely felt like it was just an elevated SimCity.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I've never played SimCity, so I don't.
Oh my
I think
gosh, you
I've seen
should.
it once. As I said,
It's
yeah,
yeah.
I was never into simulation games. I think I've played The Sims a little bit, but I got bored with that really quickly. And yeah, never tried a Planet Coaster. What is it? Tycoon
With
Coaster. I
I have
don't.
played all the tycoons, roller coaster tycoon, hospital tycoon,
Oh my
restaurant.
God,
If there was a tycoon, I have played it. Yeah.
Neato.
When I said I was a simulation game player, I was not lying.
That is so cool. But Stiletto, was City Skylines one related to you starting to create content?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, I mean, I decided to start my channel. It's only been maybe 2.5 months, but I decided to do it to help me focus on actually developing a city without changing my mind and starting over. So I thought maybe this could hold me accountable to actually build something and finish it. And then I also, at that time, I didn't see many female builders that were really dedicated to detailing. Obviously, Joy Build Cities and Few Candy were really the only ones at that time that I knew of.
Right.
And I thought it just might be fun to see what I could do and put out something just from a different perspective.
Yeah, that's cool. And by the way, you just mentioned it like 2 months. I just looked and right, you just have 10 videos and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I get 350 subscribers. That's amazing. That is really, really cool.
Is it really? Because I have no idea what to gauge it against. I
I
don't
think
really know?
I do think it's really cool. It is really cool. It's those are some good numbers. I think those are some good numbers, and I think if you keep it up, you can really go places. I think, and everyone out there listening, please do go check out Stiletto in the City. Linked in the description of the YouTube video, of course. No, seriously, that's really really cool. With only 10 videos, that's amazing. That's super cool.
Yeah, but I felt like I wanted to start the channel kind of before CS2 came out so that I could learn how to do all the things to record and edit. I literally had zero idea on how to do anything. And I had to Google how to record gameplay on PC, then how to edit, and then how to use the editor that I
Right,
downloaded.
right, right.
Even like how to make a YouTube thumbnail and then how to use XYZ to do this, that, or the other thing. Yeah, no, I had no clue. So it really has been a teaching myself new skills type of thing and something I did have interest in, but I just didn't know where to start. And I figured I'd just jump in now and get some practice so I can start CS2 content with some actual skills in my tool belt. But it's still a learning process, and I just love everything about it. And the biggest thing I think that I love the most is the community that I found. City's community is unreal. It's just so supportive and
Mm-hmm.
so great and so encouraging. No, it's amazing.
Can agree on that 100%. Also, I love the fact that you basically taught yourself everything and had to look everything up because I was the same. I was exactly the same. Like, I had no idea about this stuff, right? Content creation, live streaming videos, and editing, thumbnail, what is good, what is bad, what should you do, what shouldn't you do? And then, of course, learning by doing. Like, that's just start. Like, that's a good tip for
Exactly.
everyone that's thinking about starting. Just start. There's like just start. It's
I
as simple as
agree.
that. Yeah. Of course. And it's really really cool that you can just like on like just Google the questions and there's your answers right there, and you will find a ton of useful information, a ton of useful videos that can help you set everything up, help you explain free stuff. There's loads of free software out there. Like
So much.
I use free software to do my thumbnails. I use free software to edit my videos. It's working perfectly fine. It's good results in my opinion. And yeah, that's just amazing. It's really cool that you also like, you just explained like exactly what I did too. Like, how do I record my gameplay? Like how do I, oh, I need a program. All right. What is this? How do I, oh my God, this looks so complicated. How do I set everything up? And then, yeah, just like, okay, thumbnails. And in the early days, like I paid somebody to do thumbnails. And then I was like, oh, wait, you can do this for free in a free program? Oh, well, then let's go. Okay, how do I do this? Like, and the learning process was so much fun, though. And it's,
Totally.
yeah, it's so cool to think back to those days, right? To like, also like the time saves that one has now when setting keybinds on your editing software or setting keybinds on your thumbnail, your image program, and it's just like, it's just interesting to me also that, you know, where I came from and not knowing a thing, and you mentioned like acquiring new skills, and yeah, that was another part of this content creation journey for me, at least, that was so much fun to learn everything. And you basically have to be good at everything as a content creator. You got to learn your, as we said, editing, thumbnail, your SEOs, how does YouTube work, and how does TikTok
Right?
work, how does Instagram work, how does Twitter work, everything. And it's it can get crazy hectic sometimes and a lot of stuff going on, but in the end I think it's still just so much fun, the journey to, or still, like, I'm still learning today, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like learning every day, and that's something that's really really fun, I think.
And I am so new to content creation. Every video I put out, you know, the day before I'm going to edit it, I'm looking on YouTube like, is there a shortcut that I could do this? How can I make this easier and faster? And yeah, it's just been
Right.
great. And these are all skills that I didn't know that I could have. Um, in my career, I've kind of maxed out my skill level, I guess. I mean, obviously, there's always growth opportunity, but to do something on my own time where I can learn and grow just feels really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed, 100%. And that's very crucial what you just said. Like, how do I become like, it's all about workflow, right? And how you divide the tasks, and like in editing, like in I use DaVinci Resolve to edit my videos, and I basically edit with just three fingers. Like, I set up my keybinds, I can cut, ripple, delete, you know, and everything, and thank God that I found like a video on YouTube that showed me like, hey, you could do this pretty easy. Instead of cutting here, cutting there, deleting the segment, dragging the, you know, the two pieces together, you can do that with one press of a button. And that, like, that helps so much, just learning your software. Yeah, I watched hours and hours of videos on my software. I tried to, at least, because I, yeah, it does, like when you're like you were starting out, or like when you're in like your early shoes, like we are with content creation, it's very time consuming because obviously you're going to do everything by your own. Like, I paid somebody to do my thumbnails back then when I was creating like Mario content, right? But pretty soon I noticed, hey, I can do that myself. And so I saved that money, but of course I have to invest my time in that. And so any bit of workflow helps out so much that you can save time, which is very valuable in that content creation space, especially like, I also have a wife and child. I've got a 9 to 5 IRL, right? And so I do know the issues of time constraints, and then trying to, yeah, squeeze in the content creation aspect of that. So yeah.
Well, that's just it. I have to play the game,
Yes,
which
yes.
takes time, and then edit the video, which takes more time. So yeah, anything that can speed that up is definitely a win.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Stiletto, getting back to cities, what is something that you enjoy most about the game?
I think what I love about the game the most is just watching the Sims interact with what I have built. I am quite an observer and people watcher in my real life, so I really could just let the game run and watch them all move about, and it's just really satisfying to see them using my finished product in an area that I built. So I really love that. I like to zoom down at the ground level and look at it all and enjoy, what I think is a beautiful area and watch the Sims kind of walk around and
That is really cool. I also like to do that at times. I love it when, especially like not even a finished area, but once I place a pedestrian pathway and it gets instant use. And the Sims
yes.
just go to town and they walk on that path. So satisfying. I love that. I love that because, as we've already established earlier, traffic jams in city skylines are
Mhm.
pretty bad and can drive you away from the game. And so it's very crucial to get your citizens out of their cars, off of the roads and the pedestrian paths. They work wonders for sure.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love to build a elevated crosswalk, and as soon as they're crossing the street, I just get so happy.
Hmm. Oh, yeah, that's a very satisfying feeling, 100%. In that same vein, is there anything that you don't like about the game?
um, well, I think my biggest gripe about the game, it's not really about the game, but it's more maybe my ability as a builder, just how easy it is for traffic to get completely out of control. But since I changed my play style kind of from having the most population and the biggest city and just building for the Sims, I haven't really had much traffic issues, but probably because I use so many paths now and pedestrian roads and those bike lanes like we talked about, and of course the public transit. So when you
Hmm.
become a detailer, I think it just automatically happens. I mean, every now and then, obviously, I check on my traffic and sometimes it's red, but not like it used to be.
Yeah, I think I got really lucky in that regard because I used to consume so much cities content, especially these how to start your city
Oh,
videos
yeah.
where the creators would already talk about the topic of traffic jams, and they would already like, okay, you have to start like this in order to avoid this. And so I kind of like always in that vein felt like that, okay, traffic is the worst thing that can happen. You don't want traffic, so I better stick to my good road layout, and so I feel like that helped me a lot. I also have only minor issues with traffic at times. Most of the times is also when I'm like focused, I'm micro detailing areas and I'm building
Uh-huh.
for 20, 30 minutes. The game runs smoothly on one speed, nothing bad. And then I take a break from detailing. I zoom out and like boom, traffic jam. Like, wait, what happened? What did I do? Right?
Oh, my biggest, I take a break from my detailing and I look up and there's a huge death wave. That,
Oh,
that's where it gets me.
right, right. That's also a thing that's yeah, iffy at best in the
Yeah.
game. But aside other than traffic, is there anything else that you struggle with in the game?
I mean, I kind of spoke on it a little bit earlier with the changing my mind. I think that's my
Right.
biggest struggle is just to not change my mind and restart. This sounds crazy, but I'm really hesitant to just bulldoze what I don't like because I don't want the Sims to be mad at me. I know, they're not real, but in my mind, I've built all of this for them and they're using it. And then if I delete it, they're all running away and I feel bad for them.
That's interesting because again, I'm repeating myself, but I feel the same way. I don't know
Right?
why, but I always hate urban renewal. I hate when because I'm not very good at planning cities, right? And so I am also not good at planning the future of my cities in terms of, oh,
Mhm.
where do I put your public transport, and then boom, all of a sudden I want to put a train in there, and I'm like, oh, the train station would fit perfectly in here, and I place it down, it looks good. I'm like, oh my god, yes. Now the train tracks, I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't leave
Right.
any room and nothing, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very hesitant to like delete rows of houses because I'm and I don't know why, that's probably silly of me, but whenever I do delete houses and you see the little Sims walking away, I'm always like,
I know.
inside, I'm always like, sorry, sorry.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
maybe it's silly, but it feels bad to destroy the houses.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
And Stiletto, are there any memorable moments or achievements from playing the game that you would like to share?
I think the times when I feel most like accomplished in the game, I guess, is when I've figured out how to do something that I was totally confused about, or, I've been using mods now for a while. So when I learn how to use the mods in a more
Hmm.
efficient way and I see them working the way that they're supposed to, I just get a lot of satisfaction from just the learning and the figuring out of things, I guess, of the mechanics of the game. And that type of thing doesn't really come easily for me. So, like troubleshooting and trying this and trying that, and finally figuring it out, that's where I get the most satisfaction.
That's cool. Right. Yeah. I think for me, a memorable achievement would probably be, again, my first city reaching 100,000 residents, or my first real city that I got off its feet. And a memorable moment in that same city for me to this day is when I found out that offices actually reduce your industrial demand.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, that is
What?
so epic. I can get rid of all the stinky industry, all the dirty chimneys and everything, and have a green city, a clean city. And I started to de-zone and rezone and turn everything into offices. And all of a sudden, traffic is backed up for miles. And I'm like, wait, what's happening? What,
What?
what what's going on? And I dug into the topic a bit deeper, and I'm like, yeah, offices do take care of industrial demand, but they don't produce any goods. So everything will have to be imported. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, now I know what happened, right? So I just thought I could do a completely clean, green city with only offices, no polluting industry. Well, technically you could, but you'd have to import everything. And then I'm like, oh my God, I saved it, obviously, because that was the city that reached 100,000 residents. But it was a memorable moment for me for sure, because I was like so confident, right? I'm like, oh my God. And I talked about it with my work friend that recommended the game to me. I'm like, oh, this is like, I got this. So, and then like the next day I'm like, oh, never mind. Like, you know,
Yeah.
that was very funny. And for me it was memorable. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have memorable moments of getting hit back to back with ginormous tsunamis
Oh my God.
and just yeah, that I finally just turned off natural disasters. I don't know why I was playing with them on. I just thought it would be a fun little aspect of the game just to kind of see what happened, but I do so much work trying to make it look a certain way. I was like, why am I doing this to myself? So I finally just turned it off.
Yeah, I also have no natural disasters turned on. I think I had it once too and was wondering. And so no, no, I
Yeah.
don't play with those. Funny story actually. I was in a Red Bull video that we filmed for City Skylines, and I was the coach to a noob player, so a Grand Pooh Bear streamer that had like 10 hours in City Skylines, didn't really ever play, and I was his coach basically. And so it was the new player with the coach, with the expert in air quotes, against I'm Kibitz, right? And it was a challenge, like who could build the biggest city in 90 minutes. And every like 15 minutes a random disaster like chosen by Red Bull, there was like a team behind it, and random disasters would hit the city. And it was so funny because like I didn't know of the settings, I was just there to coach the man, right? And he had this disasters turned on, so we had like a random earthquake in the middle of everything, and that was pretty interesting. And in the end, like the last challenge that would hit the players would be a tsunami.
Ugh.
And we had like a minute to build our defenses, and I was like, I was pleading with the man. I was like, go to the landscaping tab. Either use the seawall or
Yep.
get the like the sea barrier wall. I don't know what it's called. Like not the key, but the larger one. Or like I'm like grab the landscaping and build like a wall of dirt or something. He's like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's gonna be
No,
fine. And
it's not
Kibitz,
fine.
yeah, and Kibitz was building like his defense is always looking super good. And then Grand Pooh Bear clicked the tsunami, and then nothing happened, of course, because it takes a bit of time. And he clicked it again. So he did,
Oh,
yeah. So he did like it. The video is hilarious. The video is hilarious. I can recommend everyone to watch it. It's hilarious, and it like destroyed. We lost like 15,000 residents, and of course lost the challenge then with that. But that was, it was interesting. Just a quick anecdote on the disasters, natural disasters, and the tsunami in particular. It was devastating. Tsunamis are devastating for sure.
yes, tsunami is pretty triggering as well as the water tool for me. Um, I have
Oh,
issues with that as well.
right, that can be very tricky to deal with. Like the mod, it's in the, isn't it like in the extra
It's
landscaping
extra
tools?
landscaping. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, right, right. So there's this water feature. Just a quick explaining for someone that doesn't know, maybe that's listening. You could basically place your own water source on the map. Of course, you have to be aware where you place it. You know, heights and everything. You have to. The settings is kind of finicky for me too. I had to learn it. It took me a bit of time to get the hang of it as well. Yeah, but once you can use it, it's really cool that you can create your own lakes and stuff without having to use the vanilla, like the freshwater outlet, because you could technically do that on console. I did that, and then you'd have to use a pumping station and just to keep the water level. It's a hassle. So with the water tool, that works pretty well actually. But yeah, it's tricky to use actually.
The worst part about the water tool is that it's placed right next to Surface Painter.
Right.
That's that's where I run into trouble because sometimes I accidentally click it thinking that I'm clicking Surface Painter, and I've definitely flooded my entire city.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god.
I
That's
am
horrible.
still, yeah, I'm still not over it.
I can believe that. That's horrible. Oh my god. Stiletto, how do you go about building a new city? Like, there's players that plan out every little detail, and then there's the other type, like me, that just open a map and wing it. What type of player are you?
I am definitely more of a fly by the seat of my pants builder, I think. Um, I'm picky about the map. Definitely. That is where I always find the most difficult. I want my map to look a certain way. So I end up opening a map, looking at it. I might even start like the first couple of little roads and then I'll like I can't visualize where how this will work. So I'll close that and I'll open up another map. But definitely I'm not a planner per se. I like the game kind of milestones to guide me and the RCI meter to guide me.
Hmm.
And yeah, definitely I don't really plan out that much.
Yeah, me neither, which I guess is sort of a problem
It
if
can be, yeah.
it can get, yeah, it can be a problem. It can get tricky for sure. But yeah, I'm also the type that doesn't really plan. I have a new series planned, but that's where I really want to do some planning, like before Cities 2 drops. I want to start that. So that's where I really want to do some planning, and it's hard. It's kind of difficult for me to do all that planning because I sometimes, like, we have what we said earlier, that City Skylines got a lot of updates, it got a lot of free
Hmm.
stuff, it got so many DLCs, and like at this point there's like, and I have everything. I got all the DLCs and all the content creator packs. At this point, like, there's so much in the game that, like, I sometimes just forget half of what I could use, right? There's like so much stuff in the game now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 100%.
So which do you prefer, modded or vanilla? We talked about mods. I know you're fond of mods, but what do you prefer?
I definitely prefer a modded game. Like I said, I had played vanilla for so long and I would just lose interest because for me, everything I did just looked like the same city. Then when I
Right.
came back to the game and started with mods, it was again like a whole new game and unlocked a ton of creativity for me that I just didn't know was there. And then like I said, I saw on YouTube what other modded players were doing, and I was just like, oh my gosh, wow, I was so inspired.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I was asking, like, is this even the same game?
Right.
I don't know, but I really do enjoy a modded city. I tried to do a vanilla city. Actually, my husband decided that he was going to start a city and then have me come in and kind of fix it. Well, as soon as I couldn't undo, I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I really needed the mods. I was like, "You don't have move it? Where's find it? How come you don't have undo?" So I was like, I don't really want to do this.
I do understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love me a modded game for sure. Like there's some quality of life mods. I do like a lightly modded game. Like
Hmm.
I'm not overly like never I think I guess I went overboard on my first modded city when I switched from console to PC, and I like learning the game itself, City Skylines, was overwhelming for me, right? Of course, it worked with tutorials. I can't even begin to imagine how it was for you in 2015 with no tutorials, because
Yeah.
the game is not very good at explaining to beginners how things work properly. Like there is the little advisor, but yeah, so
Yeah.
without any tutorials, I can assume it was very difficult to learn. But then with I got comfortable with the game. I switched to PC, and then mods. Of course, I had to have mods because I wanted to test how everything works with mods. I've seen videos, of course, and I felt like I had to learn the game all over again. Like it was again like too many mods and just like
Yeah.
overwhelming, and I wasn't sure how does this work. Then it was kind of not a mess, but yeah, yeah, I could have probably gone
Some of the mods
with fewer
are
mods.
extremely complicated
Hmm.
to learn.
Yes,
Definitely.
that's
Yeah.
so true.
There are
That's so
some
true.
out there that are just so technical, and sometimes they look a lot more difficult than they actually are. So when you actually learn to use them, it's pretty easy, but the look of them is really intimidating.
Right, right, right. Yeah, and like so from this point on, I was like, okay, I'm just a lightly modded player. I do
Yeah.
like that, but
Yeah.
I also love my vanilla games. Like I usually do vanilla stuff on YouTube, right? And my live streams are more reserved for the modded playthroughs. So I got that kind of split up, like kind of divided. And yeah, I also like a nice vanilla game though.
Yeah.
What are your top five mods of all time? And can you narrow it down to five? Is that even possible?
Oh, that's such a hard question. So I tried to think about what I use the most, and move it obviously
Mm-hmm.
is number one, and then find it, move it and find it, because I do like to plop down a lot of things instead of zoning. And
Right.
then probably tree control, maybe, which is like prop and tree anarchy, and then
Mm-hmm.
network anarchy,
Oh, good one.
and maybe line tool, I think, for the five. But I have others that are
Yeah.
honorable mentions.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh my God, Line Tool is so amazing. Like, come on.
Yeah. How do you
That's
do anything without that?
right, right, right. That's something that should be in a base game, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like a line. Let me just
definitely.
draw a line of trees alongside a road or whatever, a path, pedestrian path. I thought that could be in the base game, but yeah, that's. I also like Line Tool.
Yeah, no, that's a must-have. But I like Bob. I like 81 tiles. Obviously, I mentioned extra landscaping tools,
Right, right.
but and undo.
Oh, that's a
That's
good
my
one.
that's my favorite. I
That is
definitely use that
yeah.
one.
That's a good one. But I like also like network multi-tool, node controller, these kind of things are I think also pretty cool. And but it's very difficult to name only five mods as one's top
Exactly.
mods. But that's
Yeah,
why
I
I get
definitely
that.
use node controller, and I
Yeah.
use traffic manager, and I use multi-tool, but I don't use them all the time, just in kind of like specific bills or specific things that I'm doing.
Hmm.
But the five that I mentioned, I use regularly all the time.
Right, right. Yeah. Cool. Cool. That's really cool. So we did talk about the extra content for City Skylines, and what do you think about the DLCs and the content creator packs? Do you have a favorite one?
Yes, I do. I love the DLCs and the CCPs. I have all of them. Actually, I think the only one I don't have is one of the map ones, but I have the other one. I just can't remember which one it was. I love when one launches because I like to go in and see all of the new assets and like lay them out on a road and take a look at them and spin them around and see what's what. But I think the one that I use the most is probably Parks Life. And then hotels and retreats is my new absolute favorite. I have been using that nonstop since it came out. Um, but all of them are useful in their own way and they all contribute to the city. So it's hard to narrow down a favorite, but definitely the parks and the hotels are among the top for me.
Nice. I also love those. Yeah. Hotels and Retreats was amazing. I think so. Yeah.
Oh, so
It
good.
was really good. Like that came out after Financial Districts, and that was a step up. Like Financial Districts was okay, but in terms of gameplay, like adding something new to gameplay, definitely Hotels and Retreats. Like you have the whole management of the hotels, and like with the financial, of course, you can do the stock market, but like I mean, come on, that's so easily manipulated, and yeah,
Yeah. The
definitely.
stock market one was a bit of a meh for me, but the hotels and retreats, those tiny little parks,
Oh,
I
amazing.
they're everywhere. I place them everywhere. Anywhere there's a 2 by 3 block, in it goes. Just they're all over.
So true. And you can customize them. You can pick a different
I
variation.
know, they're
That's so
so
good. Yeah,
cute.
that's
Yep,
so
I
good.
love them.
I personally love the plazas and promenades, the pedestrian areas. Oh, come on. That's just, oh
Yeah,
my
that one's
God.
good too.
So amazing. I love the pedestrian roads, the wall to wall zoning buildings. So good. Like it looks so good. And yeah, the areas, the whole concept of the pedestrian areas, I really like that. And I think that's my favorite one. I mean, of course, they're all like Snowfall with the trams, right?
Right.
You got Park Life, of course, with all the parks and all the assets to detail and everything. uh so there's so
It's hard to
many.
pick.
There's so many. Right, right, right. What do you think that are some of the biggest challenges for new or experienced players in the game?
I think new players probably the biggest challenge would be just to how to set up the starting area, just kind of like how to come off of that vanilla interchange and start laying out the roads. Um, and this is probably a challenge for beginners and experienced players. The fact that you can quite literally do anything can become overwhelming. I think that's why a lot of creators
Yeah.
have really successful how to start a city videos, um, especially when it's like a vanilla city.
Yeah.
And then if you're a modded player, it gets even more kind of overwhelming because the workshop is literally filled with so many amazing mods and assets. And I don't know about you, but I can go asset shopping right from my phone. And then suddenly I have all of these assets and just too much to pick from. So sometimes for me, it causes a bit of a creative block just because I have too much. It's too
Hmm.
much.
Hmm. I understand that. Yeah, just from base game actually. As I said, I
Yeah.
just forget half of the stuff that's in the game actually, which is yeah, which is why I was never like I played with custom assets, of course, but honestly, I don't anymore. I don't have any assets. Like funny thing actually the other day in my live stream, a viewer came in and was like, "Oh my god, your game is so smooth. How many assets do you have?" I'm like, "None." Oh, okay. That might explain it. I'm like, "Yeah, probably." So, like I don't know. I don't know. I don't go asset shopping. Maybe mainly probably because I remind myself like I forget half of the stuff that's in the base game already. I should probably try and think of using that before I go out and do custom assets into my game. But I mean, to be fair, I don't really have like themes in my city, so I don't need specific set of assets for a certain theme. Like I don't try to create a UK styled city or
Mm.
whatever. Like I don't do that kind of stuff simply because I don't think I could, even if I tried. So I don't really need any custom assets. Like before we had the parking lots, I got some parking lot assets,
Yeah.
just to plop down. But yeah, that's it. I think I don't, maybe a custom interchange, maybe a park, but that's it, right? I've never really had too many assets in my game. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing a Canadian, well, I'm Canadian, so I'm doing a Canadian city right now, and I definitely had to download, some Tim Hortons and a couple
Right,
of
right.
things that are specifically Canadian businesses, things like that. So I definitely go on the workshop every day, see what's new.
Nice, nice. Can you share some of your secrets on making cities look more beautiful?
Oh my gosh, it's so easy. You just put lots of plants, lots of trees, and lots of fences. But seriously though, I think to make the city look really great, I get down at ground level and, kind of move the camera along at the road. And I just want to see if it looks the way that I would like to experience the area, if it were real. I am super lucky to live in a very beautiful city that is full of lots of nature inspiration. There's mountains, there's ocean, there's beaches. So I can just walk out my front door and I look and I think, can I make this in my city? So I definitely use what's around me for inspiration.
Real life inspiration on making the
Exactly.
cities beautiful. That's cool. Yeah, I'm I very rarely look into real life to get inspiration. Again, that's a me problem, mainly because I can't. And, I can't like visualize. Like I can, of course, like do a road layout, or do an interchange maybe, if I have the image next to me. I mean, however, the other day I did, or like a few days back for the Skylines 6 video, I did a recreation of a movie set actually from the movie Edward
Yes,
Scissorhands
I
for the
saw.
video. And like that was like the first time that I tried to like recreate something from real life, because that movie set is actually a real life location. I just learned that before then, and so I decided to do that video. And it was fun to do, but also challenging, which is why I never, like, I in the beginning I said it's not a one-to-one build, because I could never do like one-to-one builds, because there would always probably be something that I can't 100% recreate, because I just don't, I can't, I don't have the skills to do that. So it's always like that was inspired by type video, but other than that I can't, I never really looked into detail into my surroundings real life. That's really cool though, that you can do that. And then that's yeah, that's neato.
I think that's one of the reasons why City Skylines is such an awesome game because there is you can play it however you want to. There is no right or wrong way. If you are into building roads and infrastructure and trains and all that kind of stuff, that's awesome. And there's space for you on YouTube. And then I am more into building parks and pretty areas and, places where you can go and see flowers and trees.
Right.
And there's space for me too. So I feel like that's why City Skylines has such a great community.
That's so true. Yeah, agreed. 100%. What do you think about the community collaborations such as 5B1C, the Five Builders One City by Zardas, which can be seen as sort of a multiplayer mode? Did you see any of those videos, and how did you like them?
I really enjoy seeing the collaborations with the community. Again, kind of like what I just said, everyone has their own style and the way that they play the game, which is, again, just the beauty of the game. There is no right or wrong way. And I feel like the opportunity for learning and growth in the game is never ending. So to see someone come in and they do this, and then someone come in and do that, and you can see it all in one city. It's really amazing. And actually, I watched everything from the Skyline 6 multiplayer this summer, and it was it was so awesome. I was super addicted. But just to see how everyone could contribute something different, but still have it produce such an amazing city and just come together in such a cohesive way, it was really, really great to see.
Yeah, that's really epic. I love those collaborations. I loved watching 5B1C. I was stoked back in the day when I got my invitation to be a guest builder on 5B1C. That was awesome. Obviously, now I'm in the Skyline 6 and we did the summer vacation, what you just mentioned. That
So
was
good.
really cool. That was so much fun to do. Quick shameless plug. If you want to know more about the Skyline 6 or the City Skylines multiplayer collaboration, highly recommend you stop by the City of Friends Discord. It is linked in the description below. It's a joint Discord that the Skyline 6 crew, that's me and 5 other amazing builders, run, and we're usually there hanging out and love to talk about City Skylines. So that was my shameless plug for the City of Friends. But yeah, the collaborations are so much fun to do. And I remembered when I got the save for the 5B1C, and I think I spent like 30 minutes just hovering around the city and checking everything out because there were such great builders in that collaboration. It was just so much fun checking out the entire city, and then I was like, oh wait, I got to build something too, right? So but I just love to yeah, to see that the different play styles and the variety of the builders coming together on one map is so interesting to me. It's so good. I love these kind of collaborations. All right, Stiletto, we have been recording for over an hour now, and
Wow.
yeah, time flies when you're having fun, right?
Sure does.
But I do have one more question for you. Please let the audience know, are there any quick tips that you can give to new players?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Don't be afraid of the bulldozer. If you don't like it, don't start over. Just bulldoze and rebuild. The Sims really don't care. They don't mind. And then the other tip probably would be if there is something you don't know how to do or are stuck for ideas, join in the community. The City Skylines community is the best bunch of people. So supportive and so helpful. And we all just want to see some really cool cities.
Nice. I have nothing to add to that. That's so amazing. Stiletto in the City, thank you so much for joining the podcast. I really, really appreciate it. Where can everybody find you? Your YouTube handle is Stiletto in the City, right?
Stiletto in the City, and I'm on Instagram as Stiletto in the City as well.
Right. And your socials will be linked in the description of this YouTube video. Of course, everyone, I highly recommend you go check out Stiletto in the City on all of her socials. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and please stay safe out there. Bye bye.